Hi guys, I'm Dr. Roz.
And this your man Kil. We back for more Marriage Exposed. We still chopping it up about last week's question. It's kind of a long question. So if you didn't watch last week's to get caught up with the question and everything like that. Basically, Shorty's married. She keeps cheating on a dude. So, she's just saying she doesn't think marriage is for her. And is there anything wrong with that? And, why does society tell you to only be with one person? So Roz kind of gave her the PhD version of, if there's something wrong with her.
My fear though is that I think now, because at some point she's still like maybe late 20s, early 30s at this point, just based on the timeline that she gave. So it's just my fear that I hope that, this just isn't a phase for her, and then she hits 35, 40 and she's like, what did I do? I had a loving husband and I let him go, and is it really worth it? I don't know. That would be my only concern. So I'm encouraging you to think futuristically here, right, as well, to think about your future. But I know a lot of women who have decided to just say no to marriage and have no desire to be married, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and see, that's where I was coming from. Now I'm just like, everybody's not called to be married.
Yeah, everybody's
not.
I mean?
So I didn't even see it as is there, a clinical, thing wrong with her. For me, it was just, and for FYI to people, we get questions and we answer them via email to get the answers to the people, but we still want to do the videos with these questions because we want them to share with other people and somebody else may be going through this.
Absolutely.
And when we originally answered the question, I really didn't, dive into it, but it really had me start thinking about, why does society say we can only be with one person?
You did some research.
I do research.
I know.
I mean, I didn't do it all, but I mean, just sitting here
listening
back to the question, it's like you hear something different, so I'm going to do some digging. But I think, what she said, I'm not saying I agree with it, but I mean, I understood where it was coming from. I mean, that's a good question.
I mean, men do it all the time, though.
Right. But I mean, and what I mean by that is, like, the other night, me and T was chopping it up just about why can't we get a 4-day week, or a 3-day week? Like, where did this 5-day work week come from? And from doing some Google, it's like back in the 20s and the 30s, and they used to have like a 7-day work week. You know what I mean? So it was like you needed that break. But just trying to think of, where did that premise come from? And I'm sure it probably, most folk would say it originated with the Bible. But I think here's the wild part.
Okay.
The piece that I kind of don't get, and this is crazy because I'm just thinking about this stuff now, but peep this.
Okay.
So I've been saved 13 years. So I've been going to church for 13 years. I think I've gone to some very good churches. I was at Mount Pleasant in Baltimore with Pastor Johnson. I was at First Baptist Glenarden with Pastor John K. Jenkins. I'm at New Hope now with my pastor Aaron Jones. And I've watched a lot. I've read a lot. But the one thing that I have never heard any pastor talk about, I'm talking Joyce Myers on TV, on the radio, I have never heard a pastor talk about what's good with these dudes in the Bible having concubines and having all these wives. I've heard a million. Jeffrey Johnson. You know how we rock with Jeffrey Johnson.
Yeah, we love Jeffrey Johnson.
But you hear all this stuff about marriage and the two become the one, and I have never in 13 years heard not one pastor talk about why is it that these men of God could have all these wives, but now you're only allowed to have one wife.
Well, I think it's just, I think it's been explained by like culture, but you're right, because at some point,
I'm just saying, being in church 13 years, listening to a million pastors, you would think somehow, some way that question would pop up. We gotta ask.
We should ask.
Any pastors out there who follow us, ministers, get at us.
In our group, LaTorrance.
Okay.
He's a pastor. Do we have any more in the group?
I don't know.
But I would love for him
if you're a pastor, get at us. Because it's just funny that you hear about everything else.
That's true. I didn't
but
even think
through
about
all
that.
the marriage, you just never, it's like you just skate right over that part and keep it moving. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with a man or a woman understanding that, being monogamous or being just with one person for forever. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think anybody's, like I said, I don't think everybody is called to be married. You know, especially it's just like with college. You know, you give it a try. You know, I have friends who went to college, they tried it, didn't like it, you know, and I left. So it's the same thing with marriage. So she may, I know you were saying, you know, how she was raised and all those things.
You know, maybe that's a factor.
Yeah, it could be, but it could just be, hey, I tried it, didn't like it. This is boring to me. Yeah. Like, I gotta keep waking up to you. Like, you know, I know I'm just saying because the example she gave was like, that's like saying you can only have one friend.
Yeah.
Could you imagine only having one friend?
No, because I have 7 best friends that I love dearly.
You know, so I'm not trying to get on no polygamy stuff, but I'm just saying, I think that's where that lifestyle starts to, you know.
And I think her biggest thing is if she's, it's the whole double standard of how women and men are seen. So if she's not monogamous with one person,
right,
but yet she has all these friends with benefits, you know, then she's going to be labeled. When you guys can do it all day long and there's no label association until you're like 50 years old in the club still trying to get with somebody. Then you're the old man in the club that sleeps with everybody, you know. But, you know, I wonder if that is her issue. Is that really bothering her? Now, I wish she had emailed us back. The idea that, you know, when she thought something was wrong with her, because she wanted to experience different partners, she didn't want to just be tied to one person.
Right.
For the rest of her life.
And I mean, I think that's the hard part about marriage because most people don't stay in a relationship that long.
Yeah, it's the longest thing you'll ever do. Probably.
I don't think most people, like, I can remember you back in high school and you be with your girl for like a year and it felt like
forever.
A year. Like, yo, we just got a year under our belt. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't even know if the average person, you know, is even used to staying in a relationship more than 7-8 months, you know, before breaking up and moving on to something else. And now you are hit with the reality wall of this is it. You know, and I think she said she cheated like in year 2 of her marriage. So
year 2.
You know,
she gave it a good year try. Yeah, she gave it the newlywed try.
You hit that NBA rookie wall. Like you hit the wall and it was just like, oh, all right, well, you know, it ain't fun, it ain't this, it ain't what it used to be. So, you know, but me personally,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, I don't think there's nothing wrong with you, shorty. I just think, you know, marriage isn't for you.
And maybe it's not, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. But on the other hand, if it's bothering you that much, in regards to feeling like something is wrong with you.
Get at Roz.
Yeah,
that's what she do for a living.
Absolutely, please. Absolutely. You can contact me through Marriageexposed.com. We do answer those emails as you've seen. But if it is bothering you to that degree, and maybe down the line,
what is that on your wrist?
Oh, this is you know, my sorority sister Sean Yancey. She has a new line of very unique products, and so it's called shopthebangle.com. So most of my jewelry pretty much comes to her, and it's very affordable but very unique. So it's just a nice little bangle. You guys like?
There's one word we could use for that. It's unique.
It's very unique.
I'm sorry, it just threw me off because it was like reflecting light in my eyes. Too.
Yeah, but she just has really, and we're gonna get back to the question, but she just has really unique stuff. So
shout out to you, Mom.
I do like, you know, Sean Yancey. She's on Fox 5, so I do like to, you know, represent for her. Cool. Because I love her stuff. Her stuff is just very unique, and I know she goes through a great deal of trying to find great products.
That's my bad, Jeff. Just that huge thing just on your wrist threw me for a minute. You touching that ponytail. Get back to the question, babe.
So, but my thing is, if it's bothering you that much, or if you think that you might want to still have a relationship, I mean, maybe you should have this conversation with your husband, because you don't know where he stands. Maybe he wants to not be monogamous. I'm not encouraging.
Right, I know what you're saying.
Like a swinging lifestyle or anything like that, but maybe it doesn't seem, because you don't know how to talk to him, so it seems like you guys haven't communicated how you feel. And maybe if you open up to him and tell him how you feel, you know, you never know what type of marriage you could possibly have. So I mean, your marriage is your marriage, and what you two agree on is your business. It is your marriage. And you know, a lot of times we get to a place where we don't want to be judged by others, but whatever you decide in your marriage that makes you happy, it's your marriage to have. No one can tell you what type of marriage you should have.
So, prayerfully that answered your question. I'm your man, Kil.
I'm Dr. Roz.
We'll be back with another episode of Marriage Exposed. Keep it locked.